peaceful closures, healing the hearts of estranged parents, releasing blame, receiving grace, a Christ-centered meditation for the parent who cannot change the past, by Karyn Lynn Grant, LMT, the Joy Coach. Allow yourself to move into a calm, peaceful, quiet place. And after you are comfortable, take a slow breath in and gently release it. Again, breathing in the peace of Christ. Breathing out the need to defend yourself. One more time. Breathing in mercy. Breathing out the temptation to self-condemn. Allow your body to settle. Allow your shoulders to soften. Allow your heart to be exactly where it is today. No pretending. No performing. No explaining. Just being. Today we are entering one of the most tender places in the journey of estrangement. The place where blame for self or for your child begins to loosen its grip. Because blame is heavy. Blame says, if only I had, or if only I hadn't, if only I had known more, if only I could have explained better, if only my son or my daughter could understand. And before long, blame becomes a courtroom inside your heart, where evidence is constantly presented. Arguments are rehearsed. Defenses are prepared. Verdicts are revisited over and over, again and again and again. Today, Christ invites us out of the courtroom and into the garden. Take a deep breath in. Imagine yourself walking through a beautiful garden at sunrise. The morning is soft. The light is gentle, golden. Bird song fills the air. You notice a stone path winding through flowering trees, and at the end of the path sits Jesus. He's been waiting for you, not as a judge, not as an attorney, not as a witness, not even as the entire jury, just as a savior, a redeemer, a healer, as a friend. He smiles as you approach, and you immediately feel something unexpected. Sweet relief. You don't have to explain yourself, because he already knows the whole story. He knows every chapter. He knows every misunderstanding. He even knows the mistakes. But he also sees every sacrifice and every unhealed wound. He has seen every tear. He has felt every regret. And he acknowledges every act of love, because he knows it all. And his eyes remain kind. Pause and breathe. Sit beside him. Notice that you are carrying something. That heavy box has landed in your hands again. You've been carrying it for a very long time. This box is labeled blame. Inside are years of questions, memories, regrets, explanations, defenses, even the things you could never say. Things you wish you could have changed. Things you wish your child understood. Things you wish you understood about what your child is feeling and going through. Jesus looks into your eyes and he says, "Are you tired?" Feel the truth of that question, because many parents carry estrangement with exhaustion. Exhausted from replaying the incidents over and over in their mind. Exhausted from analyzing. Exhausted from trying to solve what cannot currently be solved. Exhausted from carrying pain that belongs partly to other people. And Christ says softly, "You don't have to carry this box anymore." Pause and breathe. Now imagine opening the box. Inside are specific burdens. Perhaps the feeling of, "I'm a failure. Everything is my fault. If I had only done things differently. I should have been perfect." Look at each burden and then hear Christ whisper, "Is that completely true?" Not to minimize mistakes, not to erase accountability, but to introduce truth. Because parents are not all powerful. Parents influence, parents guide, parents love, but parents do not control every outcome. They don't even control each other. And no parent, whether single or duo, has ever raised a child perfectly. Not one. Pause. Breathe. Now imagine your son or daughter standing nearby, not as a child, as an adult. Notice they are carrying a box too. Their box contains memories, perceptions, disappointments, questions unanswered still, pain. Perhaps some things inside are accurate. Perhaps some things are incomplete. Perhaps some things are misunderstood. But Christ does not ask you to take your child's box. And he does not ask your child to take your box. Instead, he holds out his hands and he asks each of you to set your box into the palms of his hands. Notice how profound this feels. You do not have to carry their pain for them. You do not have to relive and carry their judgments. You do not have to carry their conclusions. You do not have to carry their healing, nor do they have to carry yours. Christ can hold both. Pause and breathe deeply. Now hear him speak. He turns to you and he says, your child is allowed to have their own experience. Pause. Still gazing at you, he says, you are allowed to have your experience. And then he looks at you and says, I am large enough to hold both parts. Let those words sink deeply into your heart, because healing often begins when we stop arguing with one another's realities. Your child may see the story completely differently than you. Your child may remember things differently. Your son or daughter may need distance. Your son or daughter may need time. Your child may even misunderstand parts of your heart or your story. But still Christ sees all of it. And still Christ loves both of you. And still grace remains available to both of you. Pause and breathe. Now imagine placing your hand over your heart. Feel the warmth beneath your palm and repeat softly, I release the burden of perfection and imperfection. I release the burden of feeling like I have to defend myself. I release the burden of carrying every outcome. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I release the burden of fixing what I cannot fix. I receive Christ's mercy. I receive Christ's compassion. I receive Christ's grace. Pause. Now notice something beautiful. As the burden becomes lighter, your child becomes lighter too. Because when blame begins to dissolve, compassion has room to grow. Not agreement, not approval, not acceptance, just compassion. You begin seeing not only your own heartbreak, but theirs too. You begin understanding and acknowledging not only your own wounds, but their wounds too. You begin to understand your own humanity and that it's okay to make mistakes in judgment, but you see their humanity as well. And allow them room to make mistakes in their judgment of you. Something softens, not because everything is resolved, but because love is no longer competing with blame. Breathe. And now Christ says, leave the courtroom. Come walk in the garden with me. Let grace do what blame never could. Take one final deep breath, breathing in mercy, breathing in compassion, breathing in grace. And as you inhale, imagine placing both yourself and your child into the loving hands of Christ. Not forcing, not chasing, not defending, simply entrusting. And hear him whisper, I will care for your child. I will care for you too. Rest now in me. At the close of this meditation, allow yourself to take a few more deep inhaling and exhaling breaths. Acknowledge that you are loved, that your child is loved as well, that your needs are known, and that the Savior knows your child's needs too. As you come back to the surface, know that by His grace, you can release this situation into His hands, knowing that He will care for it and care for you and care for your child all at the same time. When you are ready, come back to the surface, into the present moment, and breathe in a sense of peace.